we are diving with the very interesting, like the success story from a one of my student. He is a successfully joined as a data analyst, and he have faced many challenges during his career path. Okay, so today's live session, I'm really excited about this one because we are diving into something that's incredibly motivating for anyone dreaming of a career in AI, but feeling unsure about where to start, whether they fit the mold or not. Okay, so our guest Navnoor, who has broken all those stereotypes and carved out a path into AI the most authentic way. On top of that, Nimnoor comes from the background that might surprise you. He studied the theater at UCSB. Later, he transit into tech by taking the classes in AI, and he's working at a upper bound house as a data analyst. Okay, so now we will welcome to Navnoor, and then we will ask them some real what challenges, challenges they have faced, what how he has transit their career into AI. Okay, I am
Hello.
good. Hello, hello. Well, so welcome to Navnoor. Navnoor, we are so glad to have you. Okay, and we can't wait to hear how you made your this incredible transition because you are the very you are from the non-technical background. You are an inspiration for the students who are from the non-technical background, and I am really excited to have you on my channel. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
let's start with the first question. Can you share a bit about your background and what initially inspired you to start learning AI?
For sure. First of all, thank you for having me here. It's a great privilege. So, talking about my background, I'm from India. I've been here for almost 15 years now, and my education was in. I did theater in college, and then I was also interested in data, and that's when I took your course. And it was just the ability to really create something, you know add value to an organization with their improving their data and implementing AI. That's what really kind of helped me you know
Okay,
Mhm.
that is great. Good to know. So, the second question. So, what
Mhm.
was your learning experience like when you first joined my course or mentorship, right?
Mhm.
Was there a moment when, the things uh, clicked for you? When you were taking the classes or mentorship or you were learning at this stage?
Yeah, it was really during the project that we did, the two projects that we did, that when things just started to click for me. Because I remember during the first phase, you would always, you talked about the basics a lot. The basics of how do you understand data, how do you, clean it and all that. And then you also talk about how to implement AI in it. And during the projects, it was really amazing to just go back to the basics and be like, okay, this is what I was taught by Nirja. Okay, now let's implement those basics and then um, try to finish the project. So it was during that time. Yeah.
Okay, that is great. So you are saying the most important part what you have learned during this AI journey, you focused first on the your fundamentals, the basic one,
Hmm.
and then you just transition to the intermediate level, and then
Hmm.
you go to the advanced level. So according to you, what suggestion you want to give to the students here? Like, what do you think? Like many students think we should learn and complete the boot camp and the classes so quickly, right? They
Hmm.
rush towards actually model building. So
Right.
this is a goal. So what do you want to suggest them from your experience? Like should they first focus on the process, logic, or programming, and then
Mhm.
move to the complex project according to your experience?
No, definitely. I would say focus on the basics first, the fundamentals, as you said. And as you get a grasp of that, and as you move towards intermediate and even advanced level, machine learning, neural networks, and all that, knowing the basics, because at the end of the day, you'll have to go back to the basics, back to the fundamentals. And that's what will help you through all the hard times when you're not understanding why is this model not working, why is uh, the accuracy rate 80% instead of it should be higher, so it's just going back to those basics. That's what really helps you kind of excel in your career in this field.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Mhm.
Okay, so the next question is how did you go from learning the fundamentals to landing your first success in the AI field? Was it a project, job, or breakthrough moment? Would you like to
You,
share that?
no, definitely. I'll give two examples, right? The first one is pretty much um, when I started my first job, ChatGPT had just come out, and everybody was talking about it, and I had no idea about it. So I made my department head was using it to write a poem or something, and after that, I made my account, and I was like, okay, what can I ask this thing, right? And I was like, okay, wait, I have to like create this Excel sheet, and I need to figure out this formula. Okay, let's see if it can help me out with that one formula, and it was literally typed like again back to the basics, right? That okay, what do I want from this data set, you know and so just going back to those basics and just asking that to that model, to ChatGPT, and then it just giving us that answer and it actually working. That was just amazing, and so and then that was my first job. And then my current job, we work with the homeless population in Los Angeles, and we have to use a government database, and we also
Okay.
have to use a our private database, right? But there is no API connection. Like the database doesn't allow that, the government one. So what the one of the first projects they gave me was, okay, how can we do data validation between these two softwares, right? So obviously you can get the data, but how do you quickly see what are we missing, what are the inefficiencies, in data entry. So the amazing thing about these nonprofits is that they're very passionate about helping homeless clients, but they're not very technologically inclined. So their version of data validation was, hey Nav, go look at this data point, look at this data point, do they match? Okay, go to the next one. So I was like, no, we're not gonna do that. That's literally took, and I did it for a week, and I was like, I just barely did 60 rows of data. So I said, okay, guys, give me like 2 weeks. Let me develop a code base that can do this
Mhm.
for us. And so, but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna use AI to build this. And I started again back to the basics of, okay, what is the data? What do I need from this? And going from there, I started to implement GitHub Copilot, right, into my coding. And greatest thing happened where something that was required, something that everybody thought would take months on months to kind of do the data validation. I was able to create this code base in 4 days. you know
Wow.
like I remember it was, I think it's like 20 or 25 different functions I had to create, just
Mhm.
because of the way data was stored in our private database and how the government database looked at it. So every single column was a bit different. So again, going back to the basics of, okay, first of all, the values need to match. Like, just again,
Yes.
one example would be, we used the values yes and no, but the government database uses on and off. Okay, so back to the basics of, okay, make sure the code understands that. And then let's do the validation. So yeah, even personally, I thought it would take me at least 2 to 4 weeks to create that database, even with AI. But just the fact that, focusing, understanding what I need, and just kind of going along with AI, I was able to do it in 2 to 4 days.
Oh, nice. Good to know. That is, thanks a lot for sharing your this experience. This is very good.
Mhm.
Okay, so like the next question is, what were the biggest struggle or fears you faced when transitioning into AI? How did you push through those moments? Because many times students feel frustrated, right? They
Mhm.
start, today everybody wants to transit right
Mhm.
into AI. but they start in curiosity. Later on, when they reach at the actually programming, finishing Python, they reach at data analysis, machine
Hmm.
learning, they got frustrated, right? So,
Definitely.
what do you want to say to the students? Like, what was the biggest challenge for you and your struggle, and how did you push through those moments to yourself?
Yeah, the I will share two struggles. The first one again was like it's more self-imposing, right? Like you're just always afraid to try something new sometimes, like because you're always afraid of I don't know anything about it. But the fact is with AI, you don't need to learn a lot. You just gotta go ask that question. So like so again, like if whoever is starting, just ask that first Excel formula to AI. Just go start with that. And uh, I just thought I forgot my second example. Uh, but yeah, so just go start using it and know that be it chat gpt or claude ai or whatever model is, one of the things that they say on the bottom is, hey, the model may be wrong. So just like and that was one of my fears, because as I do these projects with ai, I'm always at the end of the day, it's my responsibility. So I can't just say, oh, the ai did. They were like, they don't understand what ai did.
Yep.
So just the idea of, okay, let's get AI's help, but then let's also make sure you understand what just happened there.
Yep.
So with this data validation project that I just talked about, yeah, like it literally generates these reports in 2 seconds. But I still go in the report and I check random 5 different rows that it told me. You know, and usually the mistakes I found are because of, again, the way I understood the columns, the way I understood the data, and the way I asked the question. So I'll always end up going back to, okay, let's understand things properly and then ask AI for that help. You know, because if we start with the incorrect or wrong understanding of what we need, the AI will give us an answer no matter what. But then we're gonna ask it again. It's gonna just start hallucinating, and you end up going nowhere. And that's a very common mistake that happens. So just take a step back, go back to your fundamentals. Hey, this is what I need, and then go into AI and ask that question, and then you will get to the right solution. But again, always make sure at the end of the day it's your responsibility. So just check, always check.
Okay, so you are saying like if you should go with the fundamentals first, understand the
Mhm,
problem, understand the
mhm,
basics, what steps you are going to follow, right?
mhm.
And we can also take a help of like the Google and ChatGPT, right? Right, the to look at the process, but you should also understand, right? What you are going
Absolutely,
to do, how you are going to implement it, right?
absolutely, absolutely.
Okay,
Mhm.
yeah, thank you. Okay, so the next question is, were there any points when you felt like giving up? If yes, what helped you to stay on track actually? Like if it happened with you.
Yeah, no, for sure. I would say the giving up point comes again when you don't understand your fundamentals. And the AI starts to hallucinate, and you're like, am I wrong or is this thing wrong? You know, so again, going back to the fundamentals, because I remember for one of these functions that I was trying to create, it was it was very complicated the way we did it on our database and how the government database has it. So to help, so it was something that I had to pretty much write out, literally create paragraphs of understanding that I can kind of feed the AI into, right? So that, which for me meant, okay, how do I understand this data right now? you know and besides that, I would say, whatever field you're in, you know for me, it's this field of, homeless population, serving those people. The system is not the most efficient. Be it out there, the organizations that are they're supposed to help them. So for me, what keeps getting me to work harder and harder is that, hey, I cannot control what's out there, but at least I can make do my job and make things more efficient, so that at least my teams can run, our case managers can really go out there and be more efficient.
Oh, so nice of you. Okay, thanks a lot. And then now I will ask you some questions like if you would like to give the advice for career changers, the students who are looking to transit their in career, right? They're so
Mhm.
confused sometime, but they can see you now. You don't need any special degree, no tech background. Even then, you can be become successful in AI, right? So, what advice would you give to someone who is currently in a different field, right? And wants to transit it into AI but feels sometimes overwhelmed, whelmed, and underqualified. Like they afraid, right? If I don't have a degree, I won't be able to apply in this company, this company.
Yeah, yeah. What I would say is that, you know, every besides my first job, the second one, the third one, they just look at the work that you did and what value you're bringing, to the table. And AI brings a lot of value to the table, like it can make your processes efficient by 90%, and so if you're whatever field you're in, AI is one of those technologies that can make it efficient, that you can enhance it. So just start with like the first thing, like ask the first basic question, and that you need to get answered, that you think might take you, you know 5, 10, 15 minutes, just basic searching on the internet. you know
Okay.
Ask that first question about your industry, about that, and you'll see how quickly things move for you, how quickly you are able to really turn in your projects, and when you see that, that is something that you can talk about to your current employer, your next job interview, that how you was able to make things efficient by 50%, 80%, and I think when you talk about that and when you actually do it, that creates a lot of value, and that's something that any organization, any leader will really appreciate.
Okay. So here, when you got your first job, right, in a
Mhm.
AI, you got a break. So did you build your like the strong job portfolio on the GitHub or any other, or only you were following the LinkedIn or the interview? You got an interview call. This is also where students stuck most of the time, right? They
Mhm.
do degrees, they do the boot camps, even they are from the non-technical background, they transited into what do
Mhm.
you suggest here? Do the students should build a strong portfolio and
Mhm.
they should work if what some steps or they should if they are going to do only the two project but with the full detail and they are able to explain it in a very good way to the interview. What do you suggest?
No, absolutely. Yeah. I would say just focus on like one or two projects, because especially if you're trying to get your very first job in AI, right? That's a longer journey than getting your second job in AI and your third job in AI. I remember when I was doing it, like you and I, we created, I think it was two projects, right? And one of the things you would always tell me is, make sure that you're always making your project better, because that creates a lot of value when somebody goes in and you can see, okay, this person was working on it. You would always tell me that, hey, like write what you are going to do here and then do the code, and that organization, is something that helps you create a better project, and that is something that really helps the interviewer see that, hey, you're not just you know what you're talking about, you know now when it comes to getting your first job, that's a bit, it's a trickier answer to give, because like, yes, I was applying to a lot of jobs, right? And also my first job, the way I got it was through a reference. um, my family knew somebody who needed a data analyst, so, and they connected me through to them, but and they asked me for my resume, right? And obviously the resume had my experience and my projects, and the project had a hyperlink to the projects that I did with you, and so they were able to go there and see it, and then they called me for an interview, and I was pretty much able to. The thing is that any company is not going to use all the things that you're going to learn with
Mm-hmm.
you, right? But it's going to be those one or two things that they really need. Like my first job, they didn't needed a machine learning model, but what they for sure needed was somebody to clean their data and create better visualizations, and you can clearly use AI to really expedite those projects, you know and so yeah, when it comes to getting your first job in AI, clearly make those two projects really well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then keep applying, keep seeing where you can get a connection, because all of those will come out, will combine and get you your first opportunity.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot. Because this is the most common problem with the students. They do several projects, and the projects sometimes they are not able to focus or make it professionally, right? So, second thing you are saying, like from your point of view, they should also focus on every company don't need every skill, right? You
Exactly.
have to look for the job description, what they are mentioning, so they are going to ask you about that only. They are
Hmm.
not worried about what you have else done, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
Okay,
the thing
so
is, sorry, I'll just say that, 'cause the thing is that most organizations, they became successful because of being passionate about that specific thing that the company does, and at least the ones that I worked in, they're at least 10 to 50 years old companies, so they're very much set in their ways, so in order for them to even change, you got to show them that, hey, right now your case managers who should be helping their homeless clients, they
mhm.
need to be helped. They're spending 80% of their time mining data, so okay, I can come in, I have the fundamentals of how to create more automated workflows that can really save us those 5-6 hours a day of data mining and comparing what is correct and what is not correct, and that is something that they would really value.
Wow, it's
Mhm.
great. Thank you. And the next question is like if like looking back, if you like look back at your career when you start thinking about career and you did a lot of struggle study, right? And what do you wish like knew at the beginning of your AI journey actually that could have saved your time or stress, like which you have gone through?
Mm. I think I wish I had working with AI on a regular basis instead
Hmm.
of I've been struggling for 5 hours. Okay, let's go to AI now. That those are two different things. When
Hmm.
I think that's maybe that's the reason Microsoft calls it Copilot, instead of whatever else they could have called it. So just kind of having two. I always have two screens. One has AI on it. The other one has the data that I'm working with, and just I wish from the beginning I had just worked on had AI alongside my fundamentals, alongside the project that I was doing, and just kind of worked on it along the way. That's something you really understand after you. I think it was towards my second job when I was like, okay, why am I spending so much time struggling? I can just go and ask, and that's when I kind of created this setup. Right side AI, my fundamentals, and left side is my data that I'm working with.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And how has your life or career changed since you start working in AI? So, and what's your next for you on this path? Like, what are you planning? What your plans? And
Mhm.
just we would love to know about it.
No, definitely. The way AI has changed my life is, you know, you get more opportunities at the end of the day, because the first project you'll get and you say, okay, you're giving me 2 days, okay, you end up doing it in half a day or whatever, that gives your employer the confidence to give you the next project, and like I know I was my first job. I was there 4 months, kind of just helping them with their fundamentals, and by fourth month, I was kind of promoted just because. of the value I was providing, and I was promoted to now lead a project, so that really helps out, where AI really helps you accelerate your career, you know, and the way you can again use AI is, first you gotta know your fundamentals, and then you bring in AI onto it, and then you can really excel in your career. Right now, what I'm working on is, and even in the future, the goal right now is to help my current organization really come into the present and implement new workflows, implement AI, because again, we're spending a lot of time data mining and finding corrections that we need to make, and then figuring out what the correct answer is. So hours are being spent on um, on finding that one value that we need. So obviously the like the project I told you about earlier, that is helping us point out what the issue is. But what I'm working on now is, how can we go start with the basis of data entry, and make sure that the data is entered correctly. Then how is data validated, without us having to go into a code base, and and then in the future, the last step would be, okay, bringing all of this together with AI, you know bringing it down to, okay, how can I can just ask a question, and it will go through my data and give me the answer. That's the ultimate goal for me right now.
Oh, nice.
Hmm.
Okay, Navnoor, you thanks a lot for sharing your these all like your AI journey with us. So, and thank you so much for taking out a time from your busy schedule. And we would love to hear you again, maybe for the next session, or if you would like to give a more tips because we have a shortage of time. So we will
Okay,
continue sometime again in the next session. Okay.
absolutely. Thank you so much, Amy.
Thank you so much. Have a good
Bye.
one. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so this was here Noor's journey is a powerful reminder, right? That your background doesn't limit your future, it enriches it. Even you are from the non-technical background, or whether you are come from art, humanities, or any other field, right? So there is a space for you in AI. Okay, so Noor proves that. Okay, so this was all about our today's live session. We will like see you or meet up with other students too who have successfully like able to start their career in the AI after doing the learning the AI and what challenges they have faced. Okay, thank you so much.